Hey, Tim Sykes here, weekend video lesson. And I really just want to go over what I'm doing right now in this market and what I think a lot of you guys should be doing to really capitalize. Friday we had a giant short squeeze on TNON. You had to be early. You had to be up at 4 a.m. I was not up at that time. Most people were not. But the reason why I bring this up is to show you what is possible in this market. So there's a lot of debate whether you should go long, whether you should go short. I've been very firm, do not short, especially as a newbie. This is exactly why, okay? And several newbies blew up. Several traders almost blew up. There's a lot of 6 and 7 figure losses. Almost nobody wants to admit it publicly, but you can imagine how these people have just gotten destroyed, because this stock in 1 minute went from the 6s and the 7s, 1 minute later to 33, 1 minute later to 55, 1 minute later to 120. Okay? This is what can happen. Even if you say, let's say short 1,000 shares, right? You see this stock like it's, already up from the 4s. They did an offering in the 3s. Theoretically, it shouldn't go up that much, if you believe the whole dilution tracker bullshit where, if a company does an offering, it should be priced around there. What you have to understand is that, yes, fundamentally, those short sellers are correct. But again, I'll say this for the billionth time, because there are so many shorts right now, and because they are using tools like dilution tracker, and there are so many brokers with shares to short looking for commissions, that creates a powder keg. Stocks should not normally go from the 4s to the 30s to the 50s to the 120s in 3 fucking minutes. Okay? Sorry for swearing, but this deserves some swearing. Open your fucking eyes. Okay? I'm literally getting in like social media fights with short sellers because I'm like, do you understand how much risk you take? Shorting even 1,000 shares. Short, let's say 1,000 shares here at like 4, 5, 6, 7. And you're like, well, the offering was done in the 3s. It should go down there. You can see this, okay? They have the news. They priced $4.5 million in an offering. It shouldn't do this, but because of short sellers and because of margin calls and because of, there were a few longs too. Congrats to those of you who were long on this. If I had been long, I would have bought it at I would have, had I been even up and looking, which frankly all of us should be, at 4 a.m. Eastern these days, because this is not the first 4 a.m. spiker. This will not be the last one. But even if I had bought it and I had typed out the alert, first of all, you wouldn't have even gotten the alert until, far too late. Sometimes I send out an alert and the stock is skipped from 2.5 to 3, and people are like, it's not 2.5 anymore. And I'm like, well, it takes me 30 seconds to write out an alert. Can you just imagine if I had bought this, 1,000 shares at 5, and a minute later it's 35, a minute later it's 55? I would have been accused Sykes, you're pumping it up. This is not a pump, okay? This is a short squeeze, and this is what can happen. Shorting 1,000 shares here at 10, 20, 30, 40, and you think that it's a gift. And then let's say you get your average 1,000 shares here at 35, which, theoretically is a gift. You're down almost $100,000. Let's say you're shorting 1,000 shares here at 12, because you're the offering was just done in the 3s and the 4s. This shouldn't be 12. So you short 1,000 shares, $12,000. At the peak, you're down 110,000. And then it comes down to 57. And you're like, I'm safe. And then it spikes up even more. It's crazy the amount of upside. And just to help you understand, I posted the chart. This was when I, basically was working on my watch list. It was already down to 13. And I said 3 to 130. And look at these short sellers. They're like, no, it went from 343 to 129.99, not 3 to 130. And I'm like, that's really what you're taking away from this? The fact that I'm just, first of all, it's just a good morning message. I'm not saying it's an exact number, but you're taking away the fact that I'm 43 cents a share off here and then 1 cent a share off here. And I had to get the tweet. Like, I don't like putting the tweet over the limit, so I'm not gonna just waste decimals. And really, this is what short sellers think, and it's laughable to me. It's like these like real life Karens where it's like, actually it's not 3, it's 343, and it's not 130, it's 129.99. I have to use the voice because this is like what these toxic short selling dilution tracking groupthink leper discord loving fools think about. just not the fact that their strategy is completely the wrong strategy right now. Not the fact that if you partake in the strategy and you're off even a little bit, you blow up. You don't just lose all your money, you're in debt. Like, imagine shorting 500 shares here. Like, it's crazy to me what people think is possible with shorting. I get it. Many of my millionaire students are short biased. I've personally made millions short selling, but now is not the time. Okay? And I'm like a broken record. I mean, if you watch my last 500 video lessons, I've said this in like 470. Like in like 90% of my video lessons, I say this. The good news is short sellers don't listen. They don't change. They're very narrow-minded. They're very stubborn. And I always say, we have to appreciate them for that. Because if they just saw the other side, if they ever thought about the risks that they take, they might be like, oh, wow, maybe I shouldn't do this. But they do. So the reason why I say it is because, if you're not a short seller already, hopefully I can save you. Not that I have like this, this whole dementia that I think that I can save everybody. Long ago, I realized you can't help the helpless. And many traders, many degenerate gamblers are just helpless. But the rest of you, I think I can save. And I can just open your eyes a little bit to the upside here. And I was like, yep, the range was truly amazing for longs. My God, you shorts are so lost. But as always, we appreciate your sacrifice and narrow-mindedness for the greater good. And then, like, again, more short sellers are like, please post a chart from your hundreds of chat members that long this at 3. I didn't long it, and most of my chat members, I don't think many of us, longed it in the 3s, or were even up. That's our fault. Just because longs didn't necessarily profit from it, that doesn't mean that it's bad to call out the crazy upside and to call out the crazy risks that short sellers take. I love Cam. Cam, is one of my inner circle students, came to Japan. I flew out him and his wife. We had a good Japan adventure, and he understands it, right? Like it's stupid to me that more people don't realize it. But again, all I can do is make videos and kind of highlight this. And I just love the fact that the short sellers are saying, no, it did not go from 3. It went from 343. Like, I'm sorry. Is that not laughable to anybody else? The fact that someone misses out on a freaking $126 and like 57 cents, like, $126 plus opportunity, and you worry about the 43 cents. Like, I get it. This is our society, and this is a good example of how some people, you're just like, I don't want anything to deal with you. I don't want any influence on such, screwed up, toxic mindset to even touch me. Like, it's sad. It's this kind of attitude that makes you like just feel bad for humanity. And there's more and more people like this. I'm not trying to get political, but it's like, it's crazy to me how so uptight some people are. Focus on the overall range. Everyone leave that comment if I'm getting through to you. Say focus on the range, okay? Because if you focus on the range, maybe you don't trade TNON, but there's other plays. NNE is spiking nicely. Congrats to some of you who are nailing this. This was, a really nice uptrender, and I missed the breaking news. Like, you can hear my voice. I'm like losing my voice. I'm traveling. I finally calmed down in the next few days, so I'm excited to stay in one place and not be like completely exhausted. But the cool thing is, I'm still profiting. PLCE, I only made $500, and some people were like, "Why are you trading a higher price stock?" But this has range. Okay, they reported earnings. Maybe it didn't go from 3 to 130 or 343 to 129.99, but it went from the 9s to now the 15s in 2 days. Okay. And this is a struggling retailer. They reported good earnings and now they're squeezing. This is a short squeeze, ladies and gentlemen. The news was out here. You can see the gap up. Okay. I only did a 2-day. You should have done a 3-day. This thing was like priced for bankruptcy or breakup fees at $5, and now it's tripled in 3 days because of good news. That is the range, that is the upside, that is the potential for short squeezes. So again, we have to thank short squeezes and short sellers because look at this. This was when the news came out. Okay, good earnings, fantastic. Nice run up from 5. And then there was some resistance in here in the 8s. And this is what everyone has to learn. Like we've seen this again and again with SERV. We saw this with CCCC in their deal with Merck months ago. It's not always just the first spike that is the best to buy. The interesting thing here, and if you go back through PLC commentary and you look through a lot of what these toxic short sellers think, they were shorting this in here. And they're shorting it in here because they're like, it's already up from the 4s to the 7s or the 8s. Like, okay, earnings are good, but like it doesn't deserve to go up that much. Because of this short selling and because of this choppiness here, that creates the opportunity for it to squeeze even more and spike even more. And you never know where the top is. So you can't just say like buy any earnings winner, but you look for these dip buys. And I got a nice dip buy in here. Why did I buy it in the 1250s? Because it was a breakout over the previous day's highs here. That's it. If you really make it simple, okay, earnings winner, short squeeze, buy the higher high. You don't know how high it's going to go, but especially on a Friday, and if you look at my videos and you see what's going on and you look at what these short selling chat rooms are saying, there's a lot of shorts trapped here. I did not dip buy this first dip here because it broke. It did break out to 1330, but it broke the support, like former resistance here at like 1230, 1240. That should be support. And so some people said like, well, how did I know to buy, this dip and not this dip? Because I don't buy dips when the support is broken. I didn't know PLCE was going to go to the 15s. I didn't think that it even had that much firepower left. But I did know that there were shorts involved. And I was looking at the previous day's highs. And the previous day's highs were 1230, 1240. So I guarantee you some people were buying on the dip here thinking that 1230, 1240 was going to hold. And it didn't. And that led to a panic down to 1170. And then it reclaimed those highs. And then you can see it kind of coiling here in the 1250s. And I sold into this, I took this part of the move. It's so small. Like it's so funny how much money there is. People think like I'm best case scenario. I'm so far from best case scenario. There's so much damn money here. There's so much opportunity with more size, with more aggression. Like I'm taking a pittance of the move. But again, I'm traveling. I'm exhausted. Teachers are those who can't do. I like just showing you that you can trade safe and cowardly and still bank. But from my entry here, 1250-ish, got all the way up to 14-ish. I wouldn't have held through this, but got all the way to the 15s. Okay, so what do TNON and PLCE have to do with each other? It's short sellers who were driving it. PLCE probably doesn't deserve to go this high, but a lot of shorts were shorting in the 7s, 8s, or 9s, and now they're covering. Short sellers are driving these prices. GV, my previous winner. Oh, there's so many plays. Even RDFN. This will be another probably short squeeze this coming week. GV has had some nice range too. So you're looking for plays with range in stocks that already spike and then they can spike again. And this is the beautiful thing with GV. Like, it didn't last very long. So again, some short sellers will say, Tim, but like these stocks all fade by the day's end. Fantastic. Yes, they do. Good luck trying to find the top. Good luck trying to, outwit the few black swans like TNON that just absolutely rip everyone to shreds. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how big your account is. If you keep shorting, if you keep playing with fire, or I guess in this case, not even fire, with nuclear weapons, financial nuclear weapons where you can just blow up everything. That's TNON. If you've made 50,000 shorting, congrats. You can lose 500,000 or, even $1 million, depending on how big your size is. You don't want to risk blowing up. And I'll say, focus on the long bias side. Yes, it did fade by day's end. So congrats to late day shorts. That's not to say like you have to not short at all, but I just wouldn't want to short the upside. And you never know when this kind of thing is going to happen. If you are taking any shorts, do not look away for even 1 minute. Okay? Even if it's fading all day in here, nice. You got the nice downtrend in place. All it takes is 1 minute. 1 freaking minute or even 30 seconds to really blow up. So if you want to do that, by all means do it, but I'm going to warn against it. And it's just funny when I have these conversations, like bringing up this range, and short sellers like get angry at me. Like, you can continue into all the comments, and I'm just like, how am I the enemy here? You guys should be mad at yourselves for putting yourselves into such a moronic spot. But props to several students, like Dion started with 5K, up to 13K, slow growth. That's good. And by the way, that's not slow, Dion. You got to keep everything in perspective. 5K in a normal S&P fund, 8 to 10% per year. 5K slow would be making $400 per year, not turning 5,000 into 13,000 within a few months. Again, it's insane, the upside potential when you really focus on what I teach. This is why I have 40 plus millionaire students. This is why I love doing what I do. It's so night and day between what most people think is possible versus reality. But you do have to get on the right track. You have to stay humble. You can't get too cocky. You can't expect profits. Like, it's not easy, but the upside is huge. And also Cruise Control, another dedicated student, got to give props to him, already up 1,300 in September, halfway through September, which is, what he made in August. So again, this is not like a normal 9-to-5 salary. This is all about learning to take the meat of the move, or even a pittance of the move, and learning to lock in profits along the way. And trust me, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been teaching for 15 plus years. Not trying to brag, just trying to help you understand that I have so much experience. Once you get on the right track, taking some profits along the way, gradually increasing your knowledge account, and then later increasing your brokerage account, you will laugh. You will laugh looking back. Jack Kellogg and I laugh a few years ago when he first started. He was a valet. He saved up his valet tips. My newest millionaire student, JCP, was a former security guard. Started with $2,000. I'll post a whole video with him next week. He just came to Japan with me. We had to celebrate his $1 million. Once you're on the right track, once you really understand it, don't feel bad if you sell too early. Don't feel bad if, you break a rule, if you lose. It's all part of your education. But the question is, can you get on the right track? Can you stay in the groove? And if you look at my trading, I mean, I might be exhausted. I might sound bad on video, but I've made now triple what I've made last year. And, I'm traveling more. I'm teaching more. So it's pretty crazy to see the upside potential. But you also do have to learn, like, don't get too cocky. Jack was up 1.3 million on the year. Now he's up about 1 million. He's like 300,000 off his highs. Just lots of over trading and over aggression. Tim Grattani gave a great webinar last week, but he's not happy with his September trading either. So, I might be trading smaller and safer and more cowardly, but I'm in a really good groove right now. And I think anybody with a small account can get in a good groove. It's tougher if you have a big account right now, because you're seeing a lot of these squeezes. Like, part of the reason why I love these plays is they're just so fast. You can't build a position like, a lot of these bigger traders want. Like, I'm just trying to take small singles. I have AZUL over the weekend. This was a nice little run up. This is a Brazilian airline that's gotten crushed, the past few months. And now there's rumors of some financing and debt deal. And we'll see, but first green day on a hard hit stock. With rumors, let's see how far it can go. I'm already up a small amount, but again, with this market, with the range, you just let these stocks do their thing. We don't know how high they can go. You just try to take the meat of the move or a pittance along the way. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you understand this, if you profited on GV or PLCE or AZUL or TNON or NNE. I mean, there's literally dozens of big runners right now. These are just a few. It's fire at will. So rest up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's get it.